Once we understand that the child's relationship to the parent is the most important factor in empowering us, it is the secret of our power, our natural power to do our job, then it only makes sense, it follows logically, that we would put energy into, investment into preserving these ties, preserving this relationship, restoring this relationship, being careful with it, treating it with respect, being stewards of it, being guardians of it. You can think of it in many ways, but basically the focus comes on preserving the basic context that is required for things to unfold, to raise children successfully, and to be able to have the natural power to do our job. What we need to do now, as I've said and repeated many times, is that culture no longer serves this purpose. Society has taken an economic turn. Society serves the dollar, not relationships. It leaves us on our own, and therefore we need to become conscious of this role in our society as parents. We need to parent with attachment in mind. And if we parent with attachment constantly in the back of our mind, it affects the interaction, it affects the dance. It comes quite naturally, but it's keeping that in the back of our mind. I want to make 6 points this particular session. 6 points about how to preserve and restore the ties that empower. We'll work around that particular issue, and hopefully it makes sense to you. Much of it is already drawing the implications and conclusions of the foundational material that we've laid. The first point is to assume responsibility for fulfilling a child's attachment hunger. Remembering that it is the most important hunger, it is even more preeminent than the need for food. When children are attached properly, their needs for food are usually quite taken care of. That is, if they're attached to the people who are taking care of them. And so attachment is the most significant hunger of all. You've heard people say, oh, don't pay any attention to him, he's just going for attention. What else is there to go for, really? And why would we ever hold it against a child? That is, the attachment needs are absolutely preeminent. If a child is continually going for attention, it would suggest we have a very hungry child. And our attitude should be more to assume responsibility for that child's hunger rather than send them off some other place to get those needs met. First of all, in assuming responsibility for fulfilling a child's attachment hunger, it's important to take the position, whether you feel it or not, assume that you are your child's best bet. Now, this calls for a very, how should I say, natural kind of arrogance of the best kind, you know, when you believe that you're somebody's answer. We should be filled with that as parents, with that sense of confidence that I am your answer, I know what you need, and I have what you need. I am the one that is meant to fulfill that attachment hunger. That restores us to our own place of dignity. And it brings us to a place in relationship to the child that is absolutely in charge of providing the contact, the closeness, the affection, the love, the warmth, the significance, and knowing, again, that need is more important than anything else. If we take the time to give our child the food they need, how much more should we take the time to give them this nurturance that goes to the very, very deepest parts of the psyche and affects them. So assume that you are the child's best bet. Not that their belonging needs should be met by somebody else. They belong to you. as your child is meant to belong to you, that's where they should have that met. But it means taking initiative. If they are well fed at our table, they're unlikely to be looking for greener pastures, going to somebody else's table to be fed. And so it's an attitudinal kind of thing here. It's a place of as I say, of great dignity. It's a place of confidence that we must stretch to find.